I just switched the audio, guys. I just switched the audio, guys. I just switched the audio, guys. Oh god. Rip. I just switched the audio, guys. Oh god. Okay, so maybe my mic does nothing. Okay, so maybe my mic does nothing.
Remember, it was just an adoption meeting.
I guess I'm gonna be talking with you guys.
You're saying the meeting never happened, and then you're conceding that he taped the meeting that never happened. What sense does that make? We'll be right back.
What you don't see can hurt you. Today's connected world is full of threats you may not see if you just monitor your credit to help protect your identity. LifeLock sees more, like your personal information on the dark web. And now with the power of Norton, we detect threats like ransomware too, to help protect your identity and devices. Plus, if there's an identity theft problem, we'll work to fix it with our $1 Million protection package. Get new LifeLock with Norton, starting at $9.99 a month.
Of all the ways to go, what if you go Korean? Go Korean for the food. Ingredients from the airline's own farm make the meals served in flight. There is attention to every detail, from the inside out. Go Korean to discover something new, where different is good and culture comes alive. There are many ways to go, but only one way to go Korean.
Hiring was always a huge challenge. Endless hours on job sites with not a lot to show for it. Then, I found ZipRecruiter. They figured out hiring. I post my job, they put it all over the web, and they send me the right people, because their technology is smart. ZipRecruiter often sends me the right person in 24 hours.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/smartest.
Wireless for 15 bucks a month. That's not right.
It's right, all right. Finger dipping? That's not right.
That dip look good.
Oh, that does look good.
You gotta try this. That's so good.
That's not right.
Neither is the way you get wireless. Mint Mobile took what's wrong with wireless and made it right. For easy, online, and just 15 bucks a month. Get your plan today at mintmobile.com.
Our breaking news tonight, Michael Cohen's claim that then candidate Donald Trump knew in advance about the Trump Tower meeting with Russians Well, what does it mean for the president's eldest son? What does it mean for Donald Trump Jr.? Chris Cillizza, Scott Jennings, Simone Sanders back with me. Okay, Scott, I'm coming to you. So, you know, what the Trumps want us to believe is that Don Jr. set up this meeting all by himself without ever consulting his father. Do you believe that at this point?
Well, I know what they've said publicly, and I know what they've also said under oath, and Simone said something before the break, and your question kind of gets at it, is the story they've been telling people. If at some point these stories start not to match, so what Donald Trump Jr. has said versus what Sarah Sanders has said publicly versus what other people that have been interviewed that we don't know about have said, at some point, if all those stories don't match, then somebody's going to be in trouble over this if Cohen is to be believed and if Cohen is viewed ultimately as a credible person. In a lot of these investigatory situations, people don't go down for the overlying crime. They go down for an underlying obstruction or a perjury or lying to a committee or something like that. And so as this whole thing has been unfolding, that's what I've been wondering about is who has said what to what committees under oath,
real quick?
And are those stories matching?
So that's what okay, let's just put aside tonight's breaking news, right? And you consider the different stories that have been told about this meeting, and then the president saying, they denying that he had anything to do with the drafting of the letter aboard Air Force One, Hope Hicks, and on and on and on. So my question was, do you believe any of this at this point? Their explanations. Do you believe the president didn't know anything about this meeting?
I don't know who to believe. I've heard a lot of different explanations about this meeting. There have been shifting stories. I don't personally find several of the people involved in it all that credible in what they've said publicly about this thing. So I don't know what to believe, but I do know this. When you put your hand up and testify under oath in front of a special counsel or a congressional committee, you damn well better have told the truth, because they will figure it out, and I hope they all have.
All right. Before I need both of you to weigh in. Chris, you first.
I mean, I think the most important thing about Scott's point there is that Donald Trump Jr. in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, now granted it was a closed-door hearing, but they released the transcript, said, no, I didn't take this to my dad. I thought it would be a waste of his time. So if Michael Cohen is saying Don Jr. told his dad beforehand about this meeting, someone's not telling the truth. The problem you have there is that Michael Cohen is not terribly reliable. This is a guy who, one of the ways that he got to where he got in the Trump world was he was willing to say and do whatever it took to get problems to go away. Donald Trump is not terribly reliable. Max Boot made the point in the last segment. The Washington Post has said he lied more than 3,000 times in his first 466 days in office. So it's like reading a novel with two unreliable narrators. Who do you believe?
Simone?
Well, I think, Don, this makes a bigger point. If we can't believe the president and his allies and his family about something as small or even as big, depending on how you look at it, as a meeting, what can we believe them about? What the president says matters, who the president is matters, and what the people who speak on behalf of the president say matters as well. And we have found that none of these folks are credible, that we can't believe anything that is being said. So, for instance, when the president says that he's giving a $12 billion bailout, quote unquote, to farmers, and that he's going to do something about these tariffs, can we believe him? When the president said that I didn't discuss X, Y, or Z with Putin in Helsinki, can we believe him? We cannot believe the president of the United States. That is an issue.
All of his tariffs.
One thing to remember here, though, Simone, is the only person transcript of is Donald Trump Jr. So he did go in and, knowing full well the ramifications of telling the truth or not, said he didn't tell him. Now, Cohen has not said anything under oath. Scott. We have no sworn testimony. So
I got to go. But Scott, I think you said, you get the prize for this one. I don't know who to believe. A problem. Top of the hour. We'll be back.
The idea from Gwynnie Bee really came from this idea that we want to provide access for every single woman to feel. Really what that means is we went from serving the majority of women to serving all women. When we first launched on TV, we saw fantastic growth out of the gate. Our data scientists spent a bunch of time to prove out the true effect that TV had on our business. TV's been a critical component of us getting to where we are.
Peeling hard-boiled eggs is such a hassle and makes a mess. Now there's Egglets, the silicone sensation that cooks hard-boiled eggs without the shell. Just prep, crack the egg into the pod, twist on the top, and boil. Pop out perfect hard-boiled eggs. No hassle, no mess. The thermodynamic silicone cooks the egg like it's inside the shell. Make delicious omelets, and it's perfect for soft-boiled eggs too. Get Egglets today at these fine retailers.
Summer can be full of joy and surprises.
Everyone happy?
Yes! Do something!
But WeatherTech's got you covered with laser-measured floor liners, seat protectors, cargo liners, and a full line of automotive accessories. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com, the ultimate protection for your vehicle.
There was an explosion of ideas.
The iPhone was so transformative.
We were dependent on the internet like we were dependent on food.
This is going to change our lives.
The 2000s, Sunday at 9 on CNN.
On CNN. Closed captioning brought to you by Page Publishing. We help publish, distribute, and sell your book.
Have you written a book and want it published? Thousands of authors have with Page Publishing. If we decide to publish you, your work ends and ours begins.
Call for your free author submission kit.
This is CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lemon, just a little bit before 11 p.m. here on the East Coast, live with all the breaking news for you, and it is a bombshell. Sources telling CNN that Michael Cohen, the president's former fixer, is prepared to tell the special counsel Robert Mueller that then-candidate Donald Trump approved of that infamous Trump Tower meeting with Russians in June of 2016, the one where the Russians were expected to offer the Trump campaign dirt on Hillary Clinton. Let's get right to it now. CNN's chief national security correspondent Jim Sciutto is here. Also, CNN political commentator David Swerdlick, CNN national security analyst Juliette Kayyem, and Jack Quinn, who was White House counsel to President Clinton. Good evening to all of you. Welcome to the program. Jim, tell us about it. What are you learning?
This is what we're learning. Sources with knowledge telling myself and Carl Bernstein, my colleague, that Michael Cohen claims that then-candidate Trump knew in advance about the dirt on Hillary Clinton. Crucially, these sources say that Cohen is willing to make that assertion to the special counsel Robert Mueller. Cohen alleges, and this is key, that he was present, along with several others, when Trump was informed of the Russians' offer by Donald Trump Jr. By Cohen's account, Trump approved going ahead with that meeting with the Russians. We should note this, that our sources said that Cohen does not have evidence such as audio recordings to corroborate his claim. A source familiar with Cohen's House testimony, that before the House Intelligence Committee earlier this year, said he did not testify there that Trump had advanced knowledge. Cohen's claims also were not mentioned in separate reports issued by Republicans and Democrats, again on the House Intelligence Committee. I should note that, of course, we reached out to the lawyers for a number of those involved in the story. Donald Trump Jr.'s lawyer, Alan Futerfas, he told CNN the following, that Donald Trump Jr. has been professional and responsible throughout the Mueller and congressional investigations. We are very confident of the accuracy and reliability of the information that has been provided by Mr. Trump Jr. and on his behalf. Contacted by CNN, one of Cohen's attorneys, Lanny Davis, he declined to comment. And on our air, you'll remember this, you saw this, Don, on Chris Cuomo's show, Rudy Giuliani, the president's lawyer, he attacked Cohen's credibility.
Right, right, saying he's been lying all week and he has been lying for years. Let's talk more. Jack, I want to bring you in now. If this Cohen allegation is true and can be proven, was there a crime committed?
Well, if this can be demonstrated, if it can be corroborated, that's the important word. I think it furthers both the narrative that the Trump campaign was not only willing but eager to get the support of foreign powers, including adversaries like Russia, and it would also provide a motive for an obstruction case if this is proven to be true. I think that, you know, we have to just step back for a moment and put this in the context of an investigation that doubtless is also focusing on for an obstruction case if this is proven to be true. I think that, you know, we have to just step back for a moment and put this in the context of an investigation that doubtless is also focusing on fact.
Contacted by CNN, one of Cohen's attorneys, Lanny Davis, he declined to comment. And on our air, you'll remember this, you saw this, Don, on Chris Cuomo's show, Rudy Giuliani, the president's lawyer, he attacked Cohen's credibility.
Right, right, saying he's been lying all week and he has been lying for years. Let's talk more. Jack, I want to bring you in now. If this Cohen allegation is true and can be proven, was there a crime committed?
Well, if this can be demonstrated, if it can be corroborated, that's the important word. I think it furthers both the narrative that the Trump campaign was not only willing but eager to get the support of foreign powers, including adversaries like Russia, and it would also provide a motive for an obstruction case if this is proven to be true. I think that, you know, we have to just step back for a moment and put this in the context of an investigation that doubtless is also focusing on the fact that this development needs to be put in the context of this broader piece where, you know, you can pretty clearly see that the special counsel is painstakingly investigating whether this linkage can be made.
So, Juliet, you know the president, no collusion. There was no collusion. There's no collusion. Does this allegation chip away at that claim?
I'm so glad you asked that because, you know, look, the Trump administration and the President Trump have remained consistent in one thing, in saying in one big idea, which is that there's been no collusion. And to support that, they have come up with a bunch of sort of mini claims, right, that say, oh, well, there was no contacts and we didn't know what was going on and no one.
This focus is now all on one day. What is that saying to you?
One day, June 9th, 2016, because because one, this is the meeting in which there is actual access. And I always ask myself, why are they having this meeting in Trump Tower the day that Donald Trump is there, right? So, and now we think that Donald Trump knew about it before. Donald Trump Jr., does anyone actually believe that Donald Trump Jr. is going to take a meeting like this and not tell his father? I mean, I don't know the guy, but I've seen him. And finally, when he testifies, Donald Trump Jr., before I think it's the House Intel, he alleges, and we also related to this, some attorney-client privilege. There's no lawyer in the room, right? He claims at that stage that he can't talk about it because there was a lawyer in the room. We don't know who that lawyer was, but we do know Michael Cohen was still Donald Trump's lawyer. So June 9th, everyone, that is the date that everyone is focused on now.
And you think about it, I've gone to Trump Tower, and listen, there are different floors, but when you go in, the configuration when I was there is everyone's office is kind of in a row with glass, right, where you can see. So these, and then right in the middle, when you walk in the conference room, at least the floor where they conduct business, the conference room is right by the elevator and the entrance, and everyone can see everything. So I'm just saying, I'm just setting it up for you. So David, listen, take a look at what Rudy Giuliani had to say. This is about Michael Cohen, and this was to Chris. Watch this.
The man is a liar, a proven liar. There's no way you're going to bring down the President of the United States on the testimony, uncorroborated, of a proven liar. And I guarantee you, his guy is a proven liar.
Okay, so he's calling him a liar, and we know the president's, his relationship with the truth, not a very good one. Both sides have credibility issues. So who does Mueller believe, David?
Well, I think Mueller's got to talk to Michael Cohen if he hasn't already, and decide who is the most credible witness and get that stuff on the record. Look, as you say, President Trump himself, Mayor Giuliani's client, has this difficult, at best, relationship with the truth. My Washington Post colleagues have cataloged thousands of false and misleading statements he's made, right up until, was it just last week, his wouldn't revision on the Helsinki press conference. I mean, there are a lot of people with credibility problems, including the President of the United States. Don, if I can go back to something Jack said that I think is really, something to focus on with this story right now, is that Rudy Giuliani, among others in the president's camp, has been saying for weeks now that there's no there there. That the president, no one expects the president to be charged with conspiracy, but that the president can't be charged with obstructing justice because there was nothing to obstruct. But if it's true that the president knew, as Michael Cohen is apparently saying, that the president knew about this meeting, that puts some meat on the bones of the idea that even if what they did didn't rise to the level of a crime, it was something that the president and his lawyers and his camp didn't want to get out, and therefore were trying to obfuscate around it, if true, and therefore there's more to hang an obstruction of justice charge on if that's the way Mueller goes.
And as has been noted here in previous segments by legal experts, Jack, you don't have to complete the conspiracy in order for it to be charged, right? You can just sort of endeavor to do it.
You bet. You can be involved in attempting to commit various crimes, including conspiracy, and you can join a conspiracy after some of the underlying criminal behavior takes place.
Okay. Hey, Jim, I have to ask you, and I think that there's an obvious answer, but do you think that it's possible that Robert Mueller already knew this? I mean, if not from Cohen, then from, one of the witnesses that Michael Cohen claims also saw Donald Trump Jr. tell Donald Trump about the upcoming Trump Tower Russia meeting?
Well, listen, we don't know. Robert Mueller is a black box, has been from the beginning, doesn't leak. It is certainly possible because Mueller has access to a whole host of sources of information. It could include intercepted emails, phone conversations, etc., if there were conversations documenting the contents of this meeting. The other thing I would reference is that based on our reporting, there was more than one person, well, there were more than just Michael Cohen and then candidate Donald Trump in the room when, Cohen claims, Donald Trump Jr. came in to inform the president about this meeting and, in effect, get his approval for it, that there were others in the room. So that would, if that is true, provide the special counsel or investigators at the Southern District of New York, provide them with other witnesses to talk to corroborate this.
And if I may just add one other point on that, I really doubt that Robert Mueller thinks it's a good idea for Michael Cohen to be talking this way. I think this diminishes rather than enhances his chances of getting a deal.
We're going to talk more, so stick around, everyone. When we come back, more on this breaking news. Sources telling CNN that Michael Cohen claims Donald Trump knew in advance about that Trump Tower meeting with Russians.
Are you done yet?
Does it look like I'm done?
Shouldn't you be at work?
Todd. Hold on.
Your real bike's all fixed.
And you guys are good.
Oh, we are the #1 motorcycle insurer in the country.
Wait, you have a real motorcycle?
And real insurance with 24-hour customer support.
Well, I retire as champion.
Game hog.
Champion.
Whether you're a diehard for the Dogs or holler for the Hawks, everyone can agree on Motel 6, where you always save more for whatever you travel for, like rivalries. Book online at motel6.com.
We can't stay here.
Why?
Flat toilet paper. I'll never get clean.
Way ahead of you.
Charmin Ultra Strong. It cleans better. It's 4 times stronger, and you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
How do you gauge the greatness of an SUV? Is it to carry cargo or to carry on a legacy? Its show of strength or its sign of intelligence? In crossing harsh terrain or breaking new ground? This is the time to get an exceptional offer on the Mercedes of your midsummer dreams at the Mercedes-Benz Summer Event, going on now. Receive up to a $1,250 summer event bonus on select SUVs. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh has earned respect from both sides of the aisle. He's widely admired in the legal community, and for conservatives, he's a grand slam.
A judge must be independent and must interpret the law, not make the law. I will keep an open mind in every case, and I will always strive to preserve the Constitution of the United States and the American rule of law.
Tell your senator, confirm Kavanaugh.
Hi kids, I'm Carl and I'm a broker.
Do you offer $4.95 online equity trades?
Great question. See, for a full-service brokerage like ours, that's tough to do.
Schwab does it.
Next question.
Do you offer a satisfaction guarantee?
The what now?
A satisfaction guarantee, like Schwab does.
What are you teaching these kids?
Ask your broker if they offer award-winning full service and low costs backed by a satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like their answer, ask again at Schwab.
So it was last Sunday. I was watching the game, painting Gracie's nails, you know, team colors. And I was like, Gracie Jane, we need to turn this footballing up a skosh. And that is when that dish listening guy just popped in. He said he was listening to what I was saying. I loved it, right?
Red Zone.
He says, get Dish for extra action through NFL Red Zone. And I said, we like extra. We're all about extra. Right, Gracie Jane?
Get extra action with NFL Red Zone from NFL Network at no extra charge. Dish, tuned into you.
Are you taking the tissue test?
Yep. And my teeth are yellow.
Time for white strips.
Crest Glamorous White White Strips are the only ADA-accepted whitening strips proven to be safe and effective, and they whiten 25 times better than a leading whitening toothpaste. Crest, healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
Of all the ways to go, what if you go Korean? Go Korean for the food. Ingredients from the airline's own farm make the meals served in flight. There is attention to every detail, from the inside out. Go Korean to discover something new, where different is good and culture comes alive. There are many ways to go, but only one way to go Korean.
So here's our breaking news. Sources telling CNN that Michael Cohen claims then-candidate Trump knew in advance about the June 2016 meeting with Russians in Trump Tower, and he's willing to make that claim to the special counsel Robert Mueller. President Trump has repeatedly denied any knowledge of that meeting. So let's continue to discuss now. Back now with me, Jim Sciutto, David Swerdlick, Juliette Kayyem, and Jack Quinn. It's interesting they're saying to Robert Mueller because his case is with Juliette, the Southern District of New York. So why, give me a distinction here. What's going on? Why is he willing to make it to the special counsel and not the Southern District?
Well, we don't, I mean, actually, the honest truth is that we don't know Michael Cohen's strategy.
But I just answered, you know what, I think I know the answer to my own question because Robert Mueller is investigating the collusion, the possibility of collusion. So I get that.
And the New York case, right. So,
the
but
New York
also,
case says centers on something else.
Because I totally want to say, you know, Jim's reporting is accurate. What Jim will never tell us, as he should not, is Michael Cohen actually the source? We actually don't know that at this stage. And so let's just assume if the reporting is accurate, what does that say? That says that this is the first time a news organization has reported that someone in the room or close to the discussions about that June 9th meeting is willing to testify in some manner that Donald Trump knew about it before. Now, let's just also remember, Donald Trump knew about it after, and he lied about it, right? Because he's the one in Air Force One drafting this fake press release about the Russian adoption. So he knows about it before, he knows about it after. One has to assume he knows the substance of what was discussed.
Okay, can I pose this to you? And this is from a legal mind. Okay, I think I should go to Jack. So this person says, you have to remember 90% of crime cases involve key testimony from witnesses with serious baggage. It is the basic MO of prosecutors to put those witnesses on the stand and explain why their motivations and, more importantly, corroborating information make them sufficiently credible. Remember, Sammy the Bull had a lot more baggage than Michael Cohen. What do you say to that, Jack?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you get testimony against bad guys from bad guys. And Rudy Giuliani himself has no doubt had testimony from pretty unsavory people in order to convict people he was trying to convict. So, you know, for him to go on the air, and, you know, you mentioned earlier that, you know, what the president, there was something you said that reminded me of the president on Air Force One and telling the press, well, you have to talk to Michael Cohen, he's my lawyer. And now, all of a sudden, a short time later, he is a liar, he can't be trusted, nothing he has ever said has been truthful. So, you know, and this, by the way, is one reason why I question the tactics that are being employed on his side, because he has invited this vicious attack from Giuliani and no doubt soon to come from the president in a Twitter storm.
So, Jim, you're there in Washington. You know, of course, politically how this is going to play out. I just want to read. This is from the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff, okay? He says, if allegation Trump okayed June 9 meeting is true, it means he not only publicly appealed to Russia for help, but privately approved receiving it. As forecast to Papadopoulos, that help would come in the release of Clinton's emails. A conspiracy case may have just gotten stronger. What do you think of that statement, Jim?
Well, listen, this is a line of inquiry that Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee and the Senate Intel Committee have wanted to go down for some time and have sometimes been blocked in those efforts. We've seen a lot of reaction to the story tonight from members of those committees, principally Democrats. One of them made the point that they attempted to subpoena Donald Trump Jr.'s phone records because they wanted to know whether the blocked phone number, which I think we've talked about on this show before, Don,
was the president.
Don Jr. spoke to after that meeting with the Russians, whether that was the president's phone number. You know, questions like that. So this is a line of inquiry that they wanted to go down and didn't get to go down all those lines, to ask those kinds of questions. So this is, it's certainly attracting their attention now, and you can imagine that those members are going to be calling for those same things now. Say, listen, we got to explore this if this is indeed true that Michael Cohen is offering this. The other point I would make is this, and God knows Jack's more of a lawyer than me. I'm not a lawyer at all. But when you listen to Rudy Giuliani's defense tonight, he was all about Michael Cohen's credibility, and he made this point. He said, all we have to do is create a reasonable doubt, right? So you get a little window into what their strategy is here, is to impugn the witness, not necessarily go after the facts of the comment, but impugn the witness. And I thought that was notable in his conversation with Chris Cuomo.
It's so much gaslighting. It's like he's saying, don't pay with cash, pay with a check. I meant wouldn't instead of would. I mean, it's just crazy. But go on. What did you want to say, Jack?
Well, I got to get David in on this. He's talking about reasonable doubt as if, you know, this is going to be prosecuted as a criminal case. Is he assuming an indictment? I mean, look, I'm sure that Congressman Schiff and others are thinking about an impeachment process, which is more political than legal. But look, all he was doing tonight was really trying to just destroy Michael Cohen. And again, I think Michael Cohen would have been better served to have had these conversations with the prosecutors.
Well, that's in the court of public opinion. I don't know how that would actually play out in the courtroom. But Juliet, quickly, and then I get it. David, I'll give you the last word. But go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Just remember, the reporting also says there were others in the room. So they can do whatever they want with Michael Cohen. But I do think that there was some, with this story, there's some tipping. All of these stories are also for the people who are keeping quiet, meaning we kind of know something about you.
All right. David, how do you think this is going to play out, these allegations, if proven true politically? What happened?
Look, forecasting down the road, somebody, whether it's Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, Congress, a court, maybe not, is going to have to decide whether Michael Cohen is credible. But the issue now, as Jim was just saying, is that Mayor Giuliani went on tonight and tried to chum the waters, not really directly attack the underlying facts, but more so trying to attack Michael Cohen's credibility. But the challenge that he's running up against, and I agree with what Jack has said, and I think Renato Mariotti said earlier, that maybe this isn't the typical legal strategy for someone potentially facing indictment. But what I see from the Cohen team, especially now that he has Guy Petrillo and Lanny Davis, is that he's not going quietly into that good night. Whether he wants a deal, whether he wants a pardon, he's not going to go the General Flynn, like, take what I can get route. He's not going the Paul Manafort defiant route. He's going the, oh, we're going to play this out in the court of opinion. You've got Mayor Giuliani. I've got Lanny Davis. Here I come. Let's see what happens. And I think that's what we're looking at right now going forward in this.
My goodness. I feel like we're on an episode of, like, you know, some show that was written in people's... It's too outlandish. I'm not going to watch that. All right. Thank you. House of Cards, Game of Thrones, yeah. Or, yeah, what's the other one with the president? West Wing? No, the other one. I forget. Why can't I remember the name of it? Sorry. Yeah, the one on ABC. Yeah. Okay.
Titanic.
Scandal. Yes, I can't remember. Scandal. Thank you, guys.
Good night,
Appreciate it. When we come back, more on our breaking news. Michael Cohen claiming that Donald Trump knew in advance about the Trump Tower meeting with Russians. Rudy Giuliani slamming Cohen tonight. But is he helping or hurting the president?
So many chances to be funny in animation. The writing, the voice talent, animation, boom.
Maybe you should stick your wiener in the bug zapper. Your imagination is unlimited in animation.
It's like a koala bear crapped a rainbow in my brain.
If you think of it and it's funny, you can make it happen.
We could get rich and be our own boss.
Comedy gets animated. History of comedy. Drawn to be funny. Sunday at 10 on CNN.
This means war.
This is an invitation to experience a place between dreams and reality, to dive into life. Are you ready? Atlantis, Bahamas at heart.
Book by July 31st to save up to 30% at 1-800-ATLANTIS or AtlantisBahamas.com.
Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for holding. How may I assist you?
Hi, yes. We were just broken into, and we need a home security system.
Oh, sorry. Wrong department. Please hold.
The best home security isn't hard to get. With SimpliSafe, you can get comprehensive, professionally monitored home security online without the hold time or runaround. Anyone can set up SimpliSafe in under an hour. There are no tools needed. Just open the box, plug it in, and your family's protected around the clock. Each SimpliSafe system is a thoughtfully assembled security arsenal. From entry and motion sensors to a high-definition security camera, you'll have everything you need to keep your family safe. If someone tries to break in, you can see what happened right on your phone. Our monitoring center will call to make sure you're safe and immediately dispatch police to your home.
All clear. Alarm must have scared him off.
SimpliSafe's professional security is so reliable, it was named Central Station of the Year. And with SimpliSafe, 24/7 protection is just $15 a month. There are no long-term contracts or commitments, so you're free to start or cancel monitoring when you need to. CNET called SimpliSafe Comprehensive, Easy-to-Use Protection, naming it Editor's Choice for home security. And it has over 30,000 five-star reviews on Google. Each system comes with a 60-day risk-free guarantee. Order today and get free shipping. You'll feel safe at home or your money back. Start protecting your home today. Go to GetSimpliSafe.com.
Really? Man, this is what I feel like when I wear regular shoes. Cramped and uncomfortable.
We can arrange a little upgrade.
Which is why I wear Skechers wide fit shoes. They have extra room throughout. They're like a luxury ride for my feet.
Try Skechers wide fit shoes.
Saturday, Vans one-on-one with NBA star and social activist Carmelo Anthony. Plus, the progressive movement surging in the Trump era. What is democratic socialism? And will it help Democrats in the midterms? The Van Jones Show, Saturday night at 7 Eastern.
Our breaking news tonight, sources telling CNN that Michael Cohen is prepared to tell Robert Mueller that Donald Trump, then candidate, both knew in advance and approved of the June 2016 meeting between members of the Trump campaign and Russians offering dirt on Hillary Clinton. The president has repeatedly denied knowing about the meeting, and now his attorney Rudy Giuliani is attacking Cohen's credibility. I want to bring in now defense attorney Joe Tacopina, also CNN contributor Michael D'Antonio, the author of The Truth About Trump. Gentlemen, good evening to you. Joe, give me your reaction to this news.
Good evening, Don. You know, not surprising. First of all, I don't for a second believe that Donald Trump didn't know about the meeting that his son was going to regarding potential bombshell information they would have against his opponent. That it just doesn't sound credible. But for the purpose of this, you know, he said, she said credibility contest that is now going to become the focal point of perhaps the Mueller investigation, because it's really about collusion. The question is going to be, does Michael Cohen have supporting information? Does he have corroborative information? Because many people have said, including my wife tonight, said, well, you can't just believe anything he's going to say now that he's under the gun. You know, generally when people are under the gun, they're looking for a way out, and sometimes the way out is providing information to get something in return. That being said, to hear Rudy Giuliani say he's been lying for years is probably not what he meant to say. Or I certainly would have said that if I were representing Donald Trump, because he's been his lawyer for years.'s been his sole client for the most part for years.
Can I ask you something?
He's been his employee for years.
Let me ask you this. So if, with the Russia thing, right, does Michael Cohen really have any exposure when it comes to Russia or the possibility of collusion or obstruction of justice or any of that, right? Does he?
Yeah, I mean, here's the question. If there was obstruction of some sort, and obstruction is such a broad field, you know, the answer could be yes. The answer could be yes. Of course, Michael Cohen's problems lie in the Southern District of New York in downtown Manhattan.
That's my point.
Federal prosecutors.
And that's, right. I think that's what sort of the confusing part for everyone. If his exposure is what he did with, I think I get the point now. If his exposure is what he did with Karen McDougal, Stormy Daniels, and possible conspiracy or bank fraud or whatever, bank fraud, then what is why would he give up this information about Russia?
Because when you become a cooperator, the more chits you get in your piggy bank, the more credit you get on your account, the better it is for you later when you face a sentencing judge. Okay. When you become a cooperator, you don't only have to cooperate in that one investigation or case. If you help others, including another federal investigation, the special prosecutor in this case, you're going to get credit for that. You're going to get cooperation credit for it. So if he could help Bob Mueller and cooperate in the Southern District, the more the merrier. He's going to get more credit in that, what they call that 5K letter that a federal prosecutor will eventually write a sentencing judge saying, yes, he's pled guilty, yes, he's admitted his wrongdoing, he's committed serious crimes, but he's done this, this, and this. He's done all these great things for us.
Okay, we're eating up the time. Michael hasn't even spoken yet. So, Michael, listen, given what you know about the Trumps, given what you know about the Trumps and about this president and his family and how the family operates and friends they interact with him, does this surprise you? Do you think he would know about this?
Oh, he absolutely knew about it. The day that it was revealed that this meeting took place, I think I said on CNN that, of course, the president knew. He's a guy who has to make every important decision. And if you watched Chris Cuomo with Rudy Giuliani this evening, you saw that Donald Trump is this giant swirling vortex of disgrace. And he's now sucking Rudy Giuliani down into that vortex because Giuliani looked terrible, doing everything he could to call Michael Cohen a liar. Well, every single person who's ever had a child knows that all human beings walking this earth have lied at some point. In some way, Cohen may be telling the truth. And so we've got all these people, whether it's Cohen, Alan Weisselberg, who was just discussed by Cohen, Rudy Giuliani, everyone who's touched by Donald Trump is disgraced by him.
You've set up the soundbite that I want to play now, Joe. This is Giuliani now describing Michael Cohen. Watch this.
That's kind of part of the human condition, right? I mean, we all make mistakes about people who turn out to be disloyal to us. You know, Benedict Arnold was disloyal to George Washington, our greatest president, right? So anybody can, Brutus and Caesar. I mean, you You can go back to ancient classical literature and you can find people who you think you trust and they turn out to be scoundrels. I saw the president when the president first found out that he had been taped. And the president was completely shocked.
Oh, I believe that.
And he wasn't angry. You know, President Trump can get angry sometimes. He was disappointed, almost like a father who's been betrayed by his son.
So that is some dramatic language there. I mean, is this a threat to Cohen? In effect, is Giuliani saying he's going to pay the price?
A threat. I think Michael Cohen's not really worried about what Rudy Giuliani is saying on TV shows, as opposed to what federal prosecutors in New York are doing to his life right now. So it's not a threat. And quite frankly, to hear Rudy Giuliani say that you can't make cases on a proven liar. First of all, I don't know where he's been proven to be a liar. Up until a month ago, he was Donald Trump's lawyer, and someone Donald Trump was saying was the great guy and a great lawyer. So I don't know where he was proven to be a liar yet. But
does that ring true to you, Michael?
He has lied.
Quickly, please.
It does ring true to me, and if he has lied in the past, it was in service to Donald Trump. So all of this just circles back on itself and starts to sound crazy, because it really is. We all know the truth here. We all know that Donald Trump was aware of this meeting. We all know that Michael Cohen is now trying to get some favor from the federal government, and it's going to be hold on to your hats for the next year and a half.
Are you sure he was aware of this meeting? Because he wasn't aware of Stormy Daniels or Karen McDougal or any of those things. No.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing that I remembered today, Don, is Trump paid cash to his girlfriends for their expenses, so he's familiar with cash.
Thank you. Thank you both. Wow. When we come back, more of the big legal issues President Trump is facing tonight. We're going to go through the major cases that could be huge problems for the president. That's next.
How does Kind make a great tasting protein bar? We crack some nuts, add rich dark chocolate, spread crunchy peanut butter, and pack in 12 grams of protein and 4 awesome flavors. Kind protein from real food.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, lean on me.
Whether you need eyewear or contacts, ordering from Iconic is easy. Behind the scenes, it's another story.
I have an incoming order, sir. Well, let's hop to it. This is Meg.
Prescription and insurance verified, $220 saved.
Bellissimo.
That Darla, she's such a stickler.
For your favorite brands of glasses, sunglasses, and contacts, visit Iconic.com. Looking out for your eyes.
If theft were this frequent, you'd definitely do something about it. Well, it is. An identity is stolen every 2 seconds. And you can do something about it with Experian. See if your social security number, phone, and email are at risk with a free dark web triple scan at Experian.com/scan. Experian. Identity protection has a new identity.
I was born during the winter of '77. I first met James in 5th grade. We got married after college and had twin boys. But then, one night, a truck didn't stop. But thanks to our Forester, neither did our story. And that's why we'll always drive a Subaru.
To me, my home is a special place. I belong to the Dong ethnic group living in Guizhou. Everything I am surrounded by makes me proud of its unique beauty. In my heart, I always ask, what will happen to my home in the future to make it better for my people? To me, Guizhou has become even more special, this time for the rest of the world. Guizhou, China's green corridor.
Charmin Ultra Soft.
Softer than ever. Charmin Ultra Soft is softer than ever, so it's harder to resist.
Okay, this is getting a little weird.
Enjoy the go with Charmin.
We're in for the communications ride of our lives.
Take me out!
There was an explosion of ideas that just got going faster and faster.
The iPhone was so transformative.
Google's appearance on the scene changed everything.
Everybody had at least one friend, Tom.
Facebook took off like wildfire.
We were dependent on the internet like we were dependent on food.
This is going to change our lives.
The 2000s, Sunday at 9 on CNN.
History of Comedy, Sundays at 10 on CNN.
It's about time.
We're back now with our breaking news. Sources telling CNN that Michael Cohen claims then-candidate Trump knew in advance about the June 2016 meeting with Russians in Trump Tower, and he is willing to make that claim to the special counsel, Robert Mueller. So let's bring in now CNN contributor Walter Shaub. He's a former director of the Office of Government Ethics, and investigative reporter David Cay Johnston. He's the author of The Making of Donald Trump. Good evening, gentlemen. David, I'll get to you, but a lot of what you said has come true over the past couple of years that you have been on this show, saying a lot of it has come true. But I need to start with Walter, because I want to ask you about the ramifications of what you've heard tonight and of this breaking news.
Well, you know, I think a lot of us may have suspected this, but who would have dreamed that it would actually be provable? And if Michael Cohen's going to come in and say that, that really is inconsistent with the things that the president has been saying, and certainly the things his people have been saying. And it takes us back in the category of trying to figure out whether they were seeking a contribution of some sort from a foreign government in terms of a thing of value, this opposition research that they may have been hoping to exploit to take advantage in the campaign against their opponent.
Yeah. David, give me your reaction.
Well, it's hard at this point to imagine anything other than a criminal Federal Elections Commission violation because of what Walter mentioned, anything of value. And clearly they were offered things of value. And let's keep in mind that, you know, there's photographic evidence that Grant Stern and others came up with that Donald and Donald Jr. have known some of these people who were involved in the Russian meeting going back as far as, I think, 2013. I think anybody who's a grown-up, Don, we all knew, and of course Donald knows about this meeting. And when we find out about the blocked phone number where Don Jr. made 2 calls at the time of this meeting, I'm sure we're going to find out it was Donald Trump's blocked phone number that he called. There's one other important aspect to this. There's no attorney-client privilege here because there were people in the room at that meeting at Trump Tower who were not there as clients of people. One of them was the PR man for the Russian rock and roll guy, Rob Goldstone. Mm-hmm. So there are going to be multiple witnesses, and if they're tapes, that would be incredibly fantastic information.
Well, so you were reading my mind. I'm wondering if I'm sure there are surveillance cameras in that part of the building. I know there is in the lobby and elsewhere, but I'm wondering how, and if there are tapes, how far they go back, if they've been subpoenaed, and on and on and on. So that's a very good point that you make. But what does this say to you about the kind of damage that Michael Cohen is capable of inflicting on the Trump family?
Well, Cohen's in a position to be a very, very dangerous witness, not just to Donald Trump, but Donald Jr., who testified that to things that I think we're going to find out are absolutely not true, which puts him in a position of being prosecuted and, if convicted, sent to prison also. One of the things we don't know is what's going on exactly between Cohen and prosecutors. The prosecutors can't be happy about what we're talking about in the news tonight. When you turn state's evidence, they expect you to talk to them, to talk only to them, to talk only on the witness stand, and to keep your mouth shut. And one of the things we don't know is, did this information leak from the Trump side, which has been very smart and strategic in leaking material to get the damage out early. Remember, grand jury cases, leaks always come from the defense or ancillary witnesses. They never come from prosecutors.
Do you think they may be getting out, Walter, I'm going to get to you, but just quickly, you think they may be getting it out, David, early, before the midterm, so it's, okay, so the damage has already been done, this is already baked into the cake?
Well, I think the damage they're worried about is to themselves and interfering in whatever deal Cohen is going to try to make. I mean, we don't. They may not need Cohen to make cases. That's one of the things we don't know.
Yeah. So, Walter, today we learned that longtime Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg, who has worked with the Trump family for decades, has been subpoenaed to testify in the criminal case against Cohen. Weisselberg is known as Trump's underboss, so to speak. What could they get from him?
Well, I mean, my understanding is that he's been intimately involved in the business for decades. It's hard to imagine there's much of anything he doesn't know. And as they start closing in on people so close to the president, like Michael Cohen and Weisenberg, you've got to worry, if you're President Trump, that they are really getting close to you.
Yeah. Do you think they could unearth things that are relevant to the Mueller investigation?
Yeah, I mean, of course, the Mueller investigation has been so disciplined, it's hard to even know for sure what different angles they're looking at. But that professionalism they've shown in not leaking information is actually quite intimidating if you're the defendant in it or the subject of an investigation, because it means that these are guys who know what they're doing.
So, Walter, tell me about this emoluments case and what this could mean to the investigation.
Well, I'm not sure how that would connect to the investigation, but it's another legal problem for the president, and it's a fairly big one. From my perspective, it's been a good week in ethics in government, and we haven't had a lot of those lately, so that's a good thing. What happened is the court, in one of the 3 emoluments cases, this is the one involving the state of Maryland and the District of Columbia, with help from a good government group named CREW, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, defended against a motion from the government to dismiss the case, and they had initially survived one when the government claimed they lacked standing. Here the government was saying they failed to state a claim because the definition of emoluments was incredibly narrow, and the government had a fairly bizarre read on it. They said emoluments only prohibits you from receiving outside gifts or payments from a foreign government that are specifically for your government services. So if the president wanted to take an outside job as a part-time professor in some foreign university, controlled by a foreign government, he'd be fine doing that. And of course, for years, the federal government has refused to allow federal employees to do that and has forced them to repay monies they've gotten. So it's very strange that the government would take a position so opposite of what it's done and enforced against federal employees for years.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you. Can you imagine, David, if there's video of it on a server?
Well,
the irony.
May well be.
I gotta go, but I'm just saying the irony. But
okay.
Yeah, I gotta go. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I have some breaking news to tell you about. That's why I cut that short. A U.S. Air Force plane carrying what is believed to be the remains of U.S. troops killed during the Korean War some 65 years ago. It has arrived in South Korea. Pyongyang turned over what they say are an initial 55 cases holding remains of fallen service members. Now, during the summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un last month in Singapore, the North Korean leader committed to returning the remains of American troops from Korean War battle sites. We'll be right back.
Let's face it, everyone would love a smartphone these days, but not everyone wants unlimited everything. For people who just need GPS, a good camera, and a few apps, there's TracFone, the original no-contract wireless provider.
Smartphone plans start as low as $15, with phones from top brands like Samsung and LG at very affordable prices.
TracFone has nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Available at retailers nationwide. Visit TracFone.com for more information and special offers.
Happy anniversary dinner, darling. Can this much love be cleaned by a little bit of Dawn Ultra? Oh, yeah. One bottle has the grease cleaning power of 3 bottles of this other liquid. A drop of Dawn and grease is gone.
And we welcome back Gary, who's already won 3 cars, 2 motorcycles, a boat, and an RV. I would not want to pay that insurance bill.
Oh, I have Progressive, so I just bundled everything with my home insurance. I'm saving a ton of money.
We love you, Gary! You don't have to buzz in. It's not a question, Gary. On March 1st, 1810...
Frederick Chopin.
Collapsing in 226...
The Colossus of Rhodes.
Louise Dustman.
Brahms' Lullaby, or Friegenlied.
When will it end?
Not today, Ron.
If you have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, little things can be a big deal. That's why there's Otezla. Otezla is not an injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats psoriasis differently. With Otezla, 75% clear skin is achievable after just 4 months, with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques. And the Otezla prescribing information has no requirement for routine lab monitoring. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Tell your doctor if these occur. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Other side effects include upper respiratory tract infection and headache. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, show more of you.
It felt great, not having hepatitis C. It's like a load off my shoulders. I was just excited for it to be over.
Harvoni is a revolutionary treatment for the most common type of chronic hepatitis C. It's been prescribed to more than 250,000 people and is proven to cure up to 99% of patients who've had no prior treatment, with 12 weeks. Certain patients can be cured with just 8 weeks of Harvoni. Before starting Harvoni, your doctor will test to see if you've ever had hepatitis B, which may flare up and cause serious liver problems during and after Harvoni treatment. Tell your doctor if you've ever had hepatitis B, a liver transplant, other liver or kidney problems, HIV, or any other medical conditions, and about all the medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Harvoni can cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects of Harvoni include tiredness, headache, and weakness.
Ready to let go of Hep C?
Ask your Hep C specialist about Harvoni.
My gums are irritated. I don't have to worry about that, do I?
Actually, you do. Harmful bacteria lurk just below the gum line.
Crest Gum Detoxify works below the gum line to neutralize harmful plaque bacteria and help reverse early gum damage. And now there's new Crest Gum and Enamel Repair. It gives you clinically proven healthier gums and helps repair and strengthen weakened enamel. Gum Detoxify and Gum and Enamel Repair. From Crest.
Gums are good. So is my checkup.
Crest. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
Of all the ways to go, what if you go Korean? Go Korean for the food. Ingredients from the airline's own farm make the meals served in flight. There is attention to every detail, from the inside out. Go Korean to discover something new, where different is good and culture comes alive. There are many ways to go, but only one way to go Korean.
We have been talking about tonight's breaking news. There's so much more breaking news these days that a lot of important stories fall through the cracks. And this is one we think that needs to be reported so the public can be aware of it. So please pay attention to this. Beginning next week, it will be legal for Americans to download and print 3D guns. So let's talk about what this means with Chris Swecker. He's a former FBI Assistant Director of the Criminal Investigative Division, and CNN contributor Cedric Alexander, the former president of the National Organization of Black Law Executives. Gentlemen, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening.
Chris, I'm going to start with you, because starting August 1, Americans will be able to legally download plans to print 3D guns at home. And this is because the State Department has reversed a previous position and decided to allow a private company to post gun blueprints online for access to anyone. What's your reaction?
This is a really, really bad idea.
It's going to present challenges, maybe even challenges that law enforcement can't meet when it comes to detecting and tracing these guns. So they'll be able to get through metal detectors, office buildings, airports, public events, public venues, and they'll be in the hand. They will be in the hands eventually of felons, convicted felons, and all the people that are prohibited from possessing and having guns. So incredibly bad idea. I'm not sure where the ATF is on this. The State Department's kind of an odd agency to even be trying to enforce anything relating to guns except for the export control and the ITAR. But I'm just wondering where is ATF and where are some of the other law enforcement agencies? I'm sure the IACP will come out against it.
Well, let's talk to Cedric a little bit more about that and the implications, because all 3D printed guns will be untraceable, Cedric. And since you can make them yourself, no background check is required. What are the implications?
Well, the implications are going to be really ones of which we're going to refer to them as ghost guns, and which are being referred to as of now, ghost weapons, weapons that cannot be traced, and someone who may have the technology to develop that type of weaponry in their home, in their garage, or know someone who can, for law enforcement, is going to be a real serious issue. But I think one thing I need to consider in all this when we think about it, and in research I was doing earlier this afternoon, is that this is very new to everybody, Don, and it's really kind of being thrown out to the public very quickly. But as your guest had just indicated, I think it's going to be important to see how law enforcement chiefs and sheriffs across this country are going to respond to this type of technology. And I don't expect for it to be a very good response, because the men and women out there who are doing a tough job already trying to battle the number of weapons out there that are out there illegally. This is just going to add to the woes.
Weaponry than in many police departments. But I got to ask.
They'll have the ability.
Yeah.
They'll have the ability to develop AR-15s, if you will, and other weaponries that are commonly used in a lot of the mass shootings that we see.
So let me ask you, Chris, before we run out of time here, 3D print, we know that the printing technology, 3D printing, expensive, and the guns that you could print right now are not very durable and don't always work. But with how fast technology is advancing, that could change faster, and I'm wondering if the law can keep up.
You're correct on it. The guns that are printable now, the plastic guns that we're seeing are not very durable. They don't work well. But you know technology is going to move quickly on this. And will the laws keep up? Right now we've got a patchwork quilt of 50 different state laws relating to guns and gun control and that sort of thing. It's serendipitous what state you're in as to what kind of gun you can get your hands on. So I don't expect these states or the federal government to keep up with this.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. I appreciate you joining us here on CNN.
Thank you, Don.
A lot of breaking news this evening, everyone, so make sure you stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Our coverage continues.
AT&T provides edge-to-edge intelligence, covering virtually every part of your business. So this won't happen, because you've made sure this sensor and this machine are integrated. Attaboy. And yes, some people assign genders to machines. And with edge-to-edge intelligence, you'll know your customers love this color and don't love this one.
Never getting grape again.
And you can adjust in near real time. And if someone tries to breach your firewall in London and you start to panic, don't. You've got allies on the outside and security algorithms on the inside. And if it's jammed up here, and it's hot in here, and you know both those things, you can do this, and your flowers won't wilt. AT&T provides edge-to-edge intelligence. It can do so much for your business, the list goes on and on. That's the power of And. And when her patient's blood pressure drops, she can share the information with other specialists.
Why did I want a Crest 3D White Smile? Dinner date. Meeting his parents' dinner date. So I used Crest.
Crest 3D White removes 95% of surface stains in just 3 days for a whiter smile that will win them over. Crest. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
I never thought I'd say this, but I found bladder leak underwear that's actually pretty.
Always Discreet Boutique.
Hidden inside is a super absorbent core that quickly turns liquid to gel. So I feel protected and pretty.
Always Discreet Boutique.
You guys been great. Thank you, Atlanta. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you, LA.
It always pays to save on your stay.
Thank you, Motel 6.
Especially when you're going places. We'll leave the light on for you.
We decided to go with Bathfitter after doing a lot of research.
Yeah, we loved how they could install a new tub right over the old one without tearing our bathroom apart.
Yeah, what we didn't expect was to be blown away by the quality. And that's what happened. They showed up in the morning, and by the end of the day, we had this absolutely beautiful new bathtub. It was better than we could have even imagined.
And it's guaranteed for life.
I actually love our bathroom now.
You too can have a bathroom you'll love. Call now or visit bathfitter.com.
A taste for chocolate milkshakes is not something you outgrow. So, having lived Atkins for years and also as someone who's an expert on shakes, trust me on this. These are awesome. Loads of protein, lower in net carbs, and no added sugar. Just awesome.
There was an explosion of ideas.
The iPhone was so transformative.
We were dependent on the internet like we were dependent on food.
This is going to change our lives.
The 2000s, Sunday at 9 on CNN.
Join Fareed Zakaria for The Most Powerful Man in the World, tomorrow at 11.
Closed captioning brought to you by Page Publishing. We help publish, distribute, and sell your book.
Have you written a book and want it published? Thousands of authors have with Page Publishing. If we decide to publish you, your work ends and ours begins.
Call for your free author submission kit.
Good evening. It's been nearly 48 hours since the secret recording made by Michael Cohen of Donald Trump was first played on CNN. Nearly 48 hours since it became clear that the president and his campaign lied about his knowledge of a deal to buy the silence of a former Playboy model who alleges a 10-month-long affair with Mr. Trump. Nearly 48 hours, and no one at the White House, and certainly not the president himself, has owned up to the lie. The silence is deafening. CNN has new reporting tonight that the president is feeling the heat, one official telling us, and I'm quoting here, it's getting closer and closer to his inner circle. How do you think he feels? Well, today, it got a heck of a lot closer. According to the Wall Street Journal, Alan Weisselberg, the longtime chief financial